PWF Empire is live. Thank you all for tuning in this Sunday night following WWE Raw's Clash of Champions. I am Jay, and I am joined on the hosting panel tonight by my actual co-hosts for PWF Empire Live. I know you guys may be shocked and surprised, but yes, the people who are supposed to be here are actually here tonight. Steven and Evan. It's been such a long time. I feel like I don't even recognize you guys anymore.
I haven't been missing for that long, have I?
Yes, you have. You want to know how I know you've been missing that long? Because, you know, this whole Donald Trump deplorable thing where Hillary Clinton called his supporters a basket of deplorables. It's been eating me up inside to call you deplorable. So, yeah. And that happened a few weeks ago.
I was very offended by that. All I want to do is make America great again, and this mean old lady is calling me names.
Well, thank you for bringing your deplorable self back to PWF Empire Live. Also, Evan, I got a question for you guys. Give me one word to describe how you're feeling right now after Clash of Champions.
Tired. But maybe that's just because I had a long week. I don't know.
Steven?
I'm satisfied.
I'm feeling liberated. I'm free. That's how I'm going to describe things. We'll see. First up, we have, of course, Clash of Champions. We love it if you guys let us know what you're thinking. Use the hashtag PWF Empire on Twitter because, as always, the conversation continues on and off air. Let's go ahead and get that conversation started with the first match for Clash of Champions. Did I say Clash of Champions? Clash. Well, I guess it's appropriate that I botched, seeing as there were so many tonight on the show, but I guess we'll get there. The first match of the night was the Tag Team Championship match, New Day versus Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson. New Day, they move on to their 400th day as Tag Team Champions because they retain here through an assist from Xavier Woods, who was not even in the match. He was at ringside, but his interference proved to be very crucial for the win for New Day. He attacked one of, I think it was Karl Anderson. He hit him in the face with Francesca too, and that led to Kofi Kingston and Big E hitting him with Midnight Hour. That's the name? Yeah, their double team move. Pin him, match is over with. New Day retains their titles.
Well, you know, honestly, Francesca too is an example of the sequel being better than the original. Pretty crazy how that ended up working out. Because, hey, I mean, she's getting it done still all the way in late September 2016, over a year after these guys captured the belts. I'm surprised they're still champions. Honestly, this is the second straight title defense that I thought the club was going to win. Maybe I'm just being ridiculous for thinking the club was going to take the titles, but I had it in my head that the club were going to win the belts and then Enzo and Cass were going to take them from the club. That was just the progression that maybe I had fantasized or created in my own head. Maybe that's what I would do in WWE Universe mode in the friggin' video game or something. But I don't know. I was just thinking they were going to take the titles. I still enjoy New Day. You know, they have run their course to a certain extent, but I got to be honest, Big E still gets me to belly laugh every week. So, I mean, they're doing their job as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, as far as this match goes, it was all right. I don't know. It wasn't anything special. Nothing really stood out to me from this match.
These club guys are just dead. They have no momentum. Do you remember when these guys came in and then you were telling us, Jay, to, you know, wait for it? You remember that?
That's completely out of context, but continue.
Oh, there's nothing else to say. It's like I've been waiting for months and not.
The wait was them aligning themselves with AJ Styles. That was the payoff. So we're on something completely different
right now.
I
think it was.
I also remember telling you guys that they were just a tag team when everybody was getting hyped, looking at them like they were the next Shield or next some takeover faction in WWE. They are just two guys in a tag team. So
okay, and I adjusted my expectations accordingly, and still they're a shitty tag team because. I don't see how these guys are any different than the Ascension. Like, honestly, I don't see how their whole shtick is any different than the Ascension's, except for they're a bit goofier. But I mean, even the club is fucking goofy. So I don't know.
Well, they've turned a corner. They've turned the corner. The announcers, they have forced the message upon us that we don't have to worry about any of the old day, them trying to be funny, these midlife crisis type humor from them. We don't have to worry about that anymore. And I was actually looking forward to that. I was looking forward to them going in the ring and dominating. There was something that was said on commentary. I believe it was by Corey Graves. He made the comment that he was speaking on behalf of the clubs, and he said, we're not getting paid to make people laugh and make you feel good. We're getting paid to beat people up. And with that in mind, that gave me a pass. That gave me my ticket to look at the club in a different way. And I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying the match, and I'm enjoying the run that they were going on. They came out of the gates with some fury, some fire, some rage, some aggression, and I was like, okay, I'm liking this. And that's my whole thought throughout the entire match, that they look damn good in this match, and they could go into the tag team titles with momentum. But then they end up losing, and I'm like, oh shit, well, what actually was accomplished here? Nothing. Yeah. Well, I guess New Day 400 days, it's a nice number, but what does that mean?
It's a shame.
Nothing to me, really.
It's a shame because, like you said, there was a path there to get them to be a bit more legit, and they dropped the ball. I mean, look, they still can recover because, I mean, the New Day, it was a dirty win, so okay. But still, they have no momentum, and I mean, I have a feeling they're going to lose the belts tomorrow. I mean, knowing this company, it's just weird things happen like that, you know, just to get the 400 days in. But I don't know. Where do they go from here?
Yeah, Vince was like, I don't like that crooked $399 number. We need 400 for them. Except more like, we need 400. But, I mean, really, this match was just... I could have seen this on Raw. I could have seen this on free TV. Like, it just didn't... There was nothing that, like, drove me to say, oh, wow, this was a pay-per-view match. And I'm not blaming any of the competitors, because it's not like the story was there for that. Like, I don't even feel like there was a narrative painted to make this into something more than it was, you know?
See, it was for me, but it's just that the ending killed it. The ending just completely...
I feel like we're going to say that a lot
shat
of
all
times
over
tonight.
it.
There'll be
probably will say that a lot, actually. That's true.
And I don't even know, like, Steven, you said, what does the club do at this point? I was thinking in my mind they should send them on a tour through the tag team division. Like, have them go from the bottom, just kick ass, and work their way up to the top. Because even if they had won the tag titles tonight, it still would have been a tough sell for me. I think I would have gotten over it eventually, because they told us a story 2 weeks ago that these guys were done with the jokes and they were serious. And that was a great match for them, or at least a great outing for them on Monday Night Raw. Then last week, it's like they didn't even capitalize off of that. So they didn't have much momentum going into this match, but they created some within the match. But yeah, it was just like nothing when everything was said and done. So yeah, New Day, 400 days as champion. Congrats, but I can't do much with that. Let's talk about another champion over on Monday Night Raw. Not quite at 400. He just won the title not too long ago. This is TJ Perkins, the WWE Cruiserweight Champion. This was the first time that we actually saw him live on WWE TV, and it was in a title defense versus the Brian Kendrick. He ends up defeating Kendrick after Kendrick tapped out.
They don't call him the Brian Kendrick anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just adding on the D. I'm trying to make it more theatrical, because, you know, it needs some help.
I just missed that entrance when he used to, you know, come out there.
Could you do that again? I missed it the first time. What was that?
Oh, he came out there, and then he had, you know, Big Zeke behind him. It's kind of, you know, Big Zeke would just come behind him. That was actually, it was fun. I enjoyed that.
Okay, so Brian Kendrick taps out to TJ Perkins. TJ Perkins retains the title. Afterwards, I don't know the new interviewer's name, but she goes up to TJP to get an interview, and he's interrupted by Brian Kendrick, who wants to shake his hand. He ends up shaking his hand, but Brian Kendrick headbutts him, and yeah, that was the end of that. Moving on, but yeah, we do have this match here with TJ Perkins retaining his Cruiserweight Championship.
Does the Cruiserweight division exist in, like, an isolated universe? I think that's what I'm supposed to get from this. Because when the matches happen, this is like a Sin Cara situation. The lights just change. The ropes are a different color. I mean,
they have different nameplates.
Yeah, so this is weird. Like you asked me a few weeks ago, like, are we gonna put the cruiserweights on the kayfabe tier list? I don't think that I am because I can't. As far as I can tell, they don't even exist in the same universe. They're just an exhibition. It's a really weird situation, but I mean,
I actually like it though.
I mean, I don't dislike. I like it more than trying to force it in with the other stuff because at least it's separate now.
Yeah.
Because of all the problems that I've talked about before, but
I think the only problem that I will have with it is that there will be guys who are in the cruiserweight like classification who will be in the main event. Like, I mean, again, like we'll get like a Finn Balor, for example.
Well, that was my problem with it, but I mean, if they keep them separate, then maybe I don't have to care about that.
Yeah, no, I know, but then at the same time, you're like, but why can't, say, Brian Kendrick now just go away from the cruiserweight division and go to the main event? Or is he stuck?
You want to know why, Evan?
Is that because he's the Brian Kendrick?
No, it's because wrestling, that's why.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I just wanted to do that a third time, so
that's fine with me.
That's all.
Fine with me.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard the interview where Brian Kendrick says that the moon is a reptilian soul receptor?
No, I have not.
He is some.
But I mean, something like that would have been nice to know, because on commentary when Brian Kendrick was making his entrance, Michael Cole said, well, this guy is called the Wizard of Odd for a reason, and he didn't give us the fucking reason. So I'm sitting there like, okay, why is he called the Wizard of Odd?
He's high all the time. That's probably why.
Well, thank you for doing Michael Cole's job for him, Steven.
And this was an interesting match. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I mean, it was different, and I think that's a good thing to a certain extent. I do have a lot of problems with the cruiserweight thing, but I'm gonna enjoy it for what it is, and just say it's like this little slice that exists in its own world. And I'm just gonna take the feuds that exist in this cruiserweight division for what they are, and it was all right, you know.
Yeah, and I think that it's cool that they actually have different ropes, and like I liked on Raw when they did the 4-way. And they had, you know, like the cruiserweight division, you know, that graphic in the background and the lighting being different. It made it feel like it was like a separated piece to the puzzle, which is something that I've wanted on Raw for a long time, actually, because I think with a 3-hour program, switching things up and making it feel like there's a section of the show that is dedicated to one specific like style or one specific division will make things feel more, I don't know, I think smooth flowing. Even though they'll be more separated, things will be more smooth flowing. And so I'm actually really glad that they're doing it that way. I think this match here was good. The Fatal 4-Way on Raw blew it out of the water, but I mean that's kind of to be expected. Those 4 guys were just on point, and I don't know. Sometimes in a Fatal 4-Way, I feel like with guys who are that good, it's almost easier for the match to be that much better. This one did have a couple of botches in it that I think did take away from it. I think it was a neck breaker that TJ Perkins went for, and it was completely like off base. I mean, I'm sorry, but when it's a major, to me that's a major botch. Like I'm not someone who likes to nitpick because I think that, you know, people make mistakes, shit happens, it is what it is. But I think this was a situation where that was just a really bad spot in this match, and there was like multiple ones. I know TJ again went for like a backbreaker, almost looked like he caught Brian where the sun don't shine. So I that did not look pretty for the Brian Kendrick, but it was a solid match. Yeah, it was just solid to me though. It didn't blow me away. I was actually like had higher hopes for it than what happened, but I like the headbutt from Kendrick afterwards because I think that this can continue, and I like that seed has been planted. So I'm still feeling positive about it. I'm just not like, you know, blown away.
This was a good match. I am trying to keep my own expectations in order. Like that old saying goes, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm trying to keep myself in check and not expect the same quality that we got out of the Cruiserweight Classic from the main roster. But then I have to ask myself the question, why? Why do I have to lower my expectations when things move up to a bigger stage? And that's a question that WWE, I believe, is going to need to find an answer to moving forward. As far as it relates to this match, it was some good stuff from them, and I'm glad to see that they're actually planting seeds for, you know, and establishing roots for characters with Brian Kendrick, and I'll like to see how TJ Perkins responds to that and what they do moving forward. But as far as this match here goes, as a championship match, it was serviceable. It did its job. It finally introduced a champion to people, and I think he had some nice things in his repertoire that possibly won some fans tonight. So I guess in that regard, it was a success. But I still can't help but feel like the Cruiserweight division is on the main roster now, but the heart is still down in Full Sail. Can't help but feel that. What do we have up next? Cesaro versus Sheamus. They are in the midst of, what is it, a best-of-7 series. The series was tied 3-3. This was the final match in the series, and it ends in a no contest after it spills out into the audience, and these guys beat the hell out of each other to the point where you had all kinds of officials out there trying to separate them, saying, you know, call it off. This is it. You guys can't go anymore. And yeah, that's where everything ended.
Oh my God, this match has happened so many times, and now it's probably going to happen again.
Can they pick the worst match to do this kind of finish in? Like, again, more than 7 matches. Because it happened a few times before the series.
Yeah, it's like 9 now.
Oh, God.
And it could be 10.
And you know what? Watch them come out on Raw tomorrow. I'm going to restart the whole series. I think I'll just...
Dude, I think you're right. I think you are right.
I'm just going to literally take my remote, hit the power off button, and just go to bed. I'm done. I'm all done if they do that. Like, I'll say it right now. I'm putting it on the table. If they do that on Raw, I will not watch the rest of the show from then on.
Well, one way or another, I won't be watching. So,
which is actually kind of making me hope they do it now, so that way I don't have.
I will not be watching. I'm going to be watching I'm going to be watching the better program. But the real main event. Donald J. Trump versus Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, he's gonna just mop the floor with Hillary, I'm sure.
It's gonna be worse than a Lesnar squash match.
Oh man. So that's basically Lesnar versus Orton played out in a debate, I guess.
Well, except he's not gonna need to pound on Hillary. Hillary will just collapse. I mean, she's not looking. She's tired. She wants to go home and go to bed. Anyway.
But as far as this match goes, though, there wasn't really a whole lot out of it that we haven't already seen. I mean, what is there to say about Cesaro versus Sheamus at this point, other than, hey, I've seen that a lot of times lately? I mean, like, did I mark out a couple of times because of some of the moves that were done? Yeah, but more in a holy crap, I hope his neck isn't broken type of way.
Yeah, Cesaro, man, that one move that we all know.
Yeah, that dive to the outside.
That dive, when he landed on his head, man, I cringed so much. I was like, oh my God. And you could see Sheamus, like, reach out and was like, oh God. Like, Sheamus was like, I don't care anymore. Like, this guy has to be okay. Holy crap. I honestly was like, oh God, I hope he didn't, like, seriously damage his neck here. That actually, to me, kind of like, as weird as it may sound, it almost kind of made the match have a different feel and a better feel to it. It felt more intense after that, because Cesaro, like, fought through the pain, and, like, he still did that, like, neck break thing, like, after. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And then he hits the neutralizer, and that should have been it right there. Bang, hits the neutral, like, Sheamus hits the brogue right after that spot. He kicks out. Holy crap, what a near fall. Cesaro makes the comeback, hits the neutralizer, wins. It's over. Why did we have to have this horrible, deplorable... I'm going to just throw that word in there.
This is a real deplorable.
Deplorable finish to this match. I mean, no need for it. The series should be over. I'm so tired of it. I was, like, actually happy for this match because I was like, yeah, last one between these two. And we still don't know what title they're going for.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I still don't know.
Yeah, Mick Foley's going to be like, by the way, it's for the U.S. title. Like,
dude, if it's for the U.S. title, I don't understand any of this because, like I said in my tweet, who needs to fight 7+ matches to get a U.S. title match? All you need to do to get a U.S. title match is just come out and challenge the champion. That's how that works.
Like Roman Reigns. Well, shit, Roman Reigns didn't even really challenge the champion.
Yeah,
he never said he wanted the title. Shit, he just, what's up? Hey.
Yeah, I mean,
how you doing, Rusev?
This is obviously they don't know what they're doing because they didn't know what they were doing from the beginning because Foley put them in the match and it was supposed to be 1 or 2 matches and it ended up being this. So it's just more procrastination.
I guess I'm standing on an island all alone when I say that this was a damn good match, and I actually
it was a good match.
I don't even mind the ending.
It was you don't mind the oh, okay.
No,
it was a good match. It was a damn good match. Okay, but the ending I did mind. I wouldn't have minded if there were not 7 of them.
Yeah,
because I just don't think I could.
100%. That had everything to do with it for me. Like, if
well,
this was...
we didn't even see one of them because it was on a house show.
Is that true?
Yeah, and that just so happened was the very first match that Cesaro won out of the entire 7. So
yeah, they didn't really plan it out that well because that could have been the end of the series. Like, every match was a potential series clinching match for Sheamus, and yet we didn't even see one.
So which house show did they pick to make canon? Because I bet you anything these guys have been fighting on every house show for like.
Yeah, I think that it was overseas.
It was in London, I think.
Yeah, somewhere in Europe. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed this match, and Cesaro and Sheamus, they worked very well together in a sense that before the match even kicked into high gear, I was engaged in the match. They have this very hard-hitting style that kept me in tune with what they were doing, and then when things really kicked up, I was like, holy shit, I'm really watching something that's good. They were beating the hell out of each other, and I'll agree with you, Evan, that moment where Cesaro went for the dive to the outside, and he landed awkwardly. It's so weird because that wasn't supposed to happen, but it just defined what the match was going to be from that point on, and it flowed into everything that was happening, and they beat the hell out of each other. And one thing that I'm thinking that WWE could do, I would like to see them keep both of these guys off of TV, or at the very least out of the ring, and then say they're settling their feud in Hell in a Cell. Because at least that would be doing something more than what they usually do with Hell in a Cell, because that pay-per-view is coming up soon, and it would be the logical conclusion from this point. Okay, they beat the hell out of each other, and they're fighting all over the place. Let's put them in Hell in a Cell, and we'll get the definitive winner.
And they pretty much told them at the end of this match, like, oh, you can't continue. So it's almost like they were trying to say, like, you guys are way too, like, injured in order to keep going. Like, they had Sheamus keep falling down, Cesaro say, oh, I can't, I only have one arm, but I can wrestle with one arm. I've done it before. And it just, that was kind of cool, but I still just hated the finish. But, I mean, again, I think that that's a decent point. Maybe what they should do is have, like, instead of just the video package route, just kind of have, like, sit-downs with them where they, like maybe not every week, but at least 1 or 2 of them where they, hash out their, like, problems. It's not a promo, but it's like almost like a backstage thing where, like, they do, like, a kind of a different type of segment where they kind of, like, try to highlight the personal edge that is there going into Hell in a Cell. I think that would help a lot too. So, like, keeping them out of the ring, I agree with.
Yeah, because we can't see them wrestling tomorrow night. Because if it was that serious to the point where you had to stop the match, then you got to follow up with that. And also, one thing that I would like to see happen going from this point forward, let us know why the hell they're fighting that hard. Because it's not just personal issues between those two. It's them fighting to be on top. Both of them think that they're good enough to be on top. Sheamus has already been there. He wants to return to that point. Cesaro wants to get there for the first time. Let us feel that. Let us feel that passion that they have for succeeding. And you could make something out of this. You could. So, yeah, what do we have up next? Chris Jericho versus Sami Zayn. Chris Jericho, he walks away as the victor here with a code breaker, I believe.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Because they don't know what the fuck to do with Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
He got the win over.
Ending. Oh, Lord.
Coming out of that match, the only thing that I was thinking was they looked at what happened with Sami Zayn after him beating Kevin Owens, didn't know what to do with the guy. They don't want to have him win here and then have nothing else to do. Or, shit, we don't want to do anything with him that goes higher than, Chris Jericho on the card. So
I don't know if
this
that's
is what
true.
The result is.
I don't know if that's true. First of all, Sami Zayn is an underdog. In my opinion, he should be losing more than he's winning. For the much the same reason that you said about Bayley in your video, because that's the character. They're underdogs. They should not be winning all the time. Second, Jericho needs to win a lot more, and he has been, which is good, because this guy puts over people, or he did, too much, to the point where he had no credibility left. This is a former world champion, and I want to actually take him seriously. So I don't mind when Jericho gets wins, and I don't mind when an underdog loses. So I think it's a natural way to go, especially because I don't think this is the last match they will have. I think they're going to have, if not two more, at least one more, and it's a progression that Sami Zayn could beat Jericho, and maybe then he could challenge Owens.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. I just think that because it was a completely clean win for Jericho, it makes me kind of scratch my head. Like, I think this is a case where you do pull out the dirty tricks to win, because it makes it look like Sami Zayn just can't beat Jericho because Jericho is a tactician.
Well, if you remember, it was clean, but it wasn't like the squeaky clean that we talk about. There was a bit of playing possum that he was doing.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I mean, because, I don't know, I think Chris Jericho is always at his best when he does use dirty tactics. Like, that's the type of heel that Jericho has always been to me. Like, that works best, is like him winning in dirty fashion. So like, and again, that might sound hypocritical, because I know I used to say that like Seth Rollins needed clean wins, but the only reason he needed clean wins so bad was because literally like 5 other people were coming into his match and helping him win. It's not like that with Jericho. What I'm saying is Jericho is the tactician. He uses his own tactics.
It's a different thing.
It is like a different scenario. So
and
I just wish it wasn't. Yeah, I just think that Sami would have made the feud feel like it has a reason to go on, whereas this just kind of felt like Sami just lost, and that's that. To me, that's
definitely a good point. I think it would have been better if he won in dirty fashion, but I do think that Jericho winning was the right move, because really, Sami Zayn hits a wall when he wins too much, because he's the character that needs to lose more than he wins. In order to be an underdog, that's kind of what you need to do by definition, is lose more than you win.
Yeah, I do feel that way too. So I get that. Like I was okay. I'm more okay with Jericho winning though. Like if it's just in a different fashion, which might sound maybe being too specific for it, but I do think that played a role in why I had distaste for it.
All right, anything more to say on this match? I mean, it was a good match. There was one point in the match where we had a botch here, where I don't know what was going on with that dive through the ropes that Sami does and the DDT. Yeah, he kind of botched that one a little bit, and that's a theme that I saw throughout a lot of the matches tonight, where they had those critical moments in the match and there was a botch. And like you were saying earlier on, Evan, it's one thing, everybody makes mistakes and things like that, but if it's at a critical point in the match where the goal of that moment is to get you hyped up and to pull you in more, and that happens, it kind of takes you out of it just a little bit. And I don't know what was in the water backstage in that arena, but some shit was going wrong, and everybody was screwing up tonight. But yeah, overall good match though. What do we have next? The Raw Women's Championship match. This was a triple threat. Charlotte going in defending versus Sasha Banks and Bayley. Charlotte walks away as the victor after delivering a boot to Bayley and pinning her. I don't know what's up with why are people using the big boot as a finisher?
I've never seen it.
What is Billy Kay down in NXT? I don't like it.
Well, I've never seen Charlotte win a match with a big boot, so I was like, what? But you could tell they were going for the finish there. It was the finishing moments of this match were absolutely terrible, in my opinion. It was so choreographed, because Sasha's sitting there with her head hanging between the ropes for about 30 seconds, and there's no way that makes any friggin' sense, no matter how deep into the match it was. And it just felt like she was just waiting for Bayley to do the spot. Bayley came near her the first time and then got thrown into her the second time, so that made it look even weirder and more awkward. The whole ending to this match felt so scripted.
Apparently Dana Brooke was supposed to be doing something, but she fucked up. And Michael Cole or somebody on commentary tried to cover for her, and I was like, no, we didn't see that. Like, I guess she was supposed to be grabbing Sasha Banks' leg, but she was nowhere to be seen. So yeah, the ending of that match, it was clunky and choreographed at the same time. So I don't know how the hell they did that, but they did it.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, this match started off pretty good. I mean, there was some good action in it, some good in-ring moments, I think. But again, I think that like it wasn't anything I haven't seen these three do before. Because I mean, the problem is when the bar is set as high as they have set it. Because let's be honest, their NXT matches were like 5-star, some of the best wrestling matches of that year, rather than just women's matches. We're talking like overall, just anything. And when the bar has been set that high, if you've seen those matches, you know that this wasn't close to that. So it's hard to get as hyped up or get as excited. And I think it was good. I'm not discounting that it was still good action, but it was just good, and that's that. And then the finish is what I remember the most because it's the last thing that happened in the match, and it felt choreographed and stiff. And I don't like a big boot for the finish. I just don't. So Charlotte retaining is the least of my complaint. I didn't care that she retained. In fact, I kind of expected her to. So that's fine. But it just lacked for me.
Outside of the finish, this was a badass match. And I mean bad as in good. And I really like Charlotte in the ring. I know she rubs people the wrong way because people look at her and they're like, she's gonna break somebody's neck. But I guess, hopefully that doesn't happen. And since it hasn't happened quite yet, I can say, confidently that I like the aggression that Charlotte has in the ring. It really plays into the character and her belief that she is the most dominant female athlete on the planet. And I like seeing her in the ring show off that aggression. And Bayley, I don't remember too much out of her in this match, or at least anything that really stood out and grabbed my attention. But Sasha is Sasha, and she was pretty good in the match as well. But Charlotte was a real star for me here, and just her in-ring aggression and how it plays into her character very well. So overall, good match for me, but that damn finish, why? Why? They just had to ruin it. Anything, Steven?
Nah, you guys pretty much covered my thoughts.
Okay. Next up, we have another championship match. This was for the United States Championship, Roman Reigns versus Rusev. Roman Reigns is now your United States champion, and I guess still the champion of Lana's honor as well.
Man, I don't know what they're doing with Reigns. The only time I ever felt like they knew what they were doing with Reigns was during that feud with AJ Styles, but that's the only time. And every other time, I don't understand it. I just don't get it. I don't know why they haven't turned him heel yet. He could have been... If they had turned him heel at the height of this stuff, he could have been a babyface by now, again. And actually over. And maybe even the star that they want him to be. They just have no patience, and they're very stubborn.
Stubborn. That's what the fuck they are. Stubborn.
Because we all know that all you need to do to make this guy a star is make him heel, let him be himself for a year, and then go back to babyface once he gets over again. Easy peasy. It works all the time. It's a proven method. And he's still a face that's not over. Now they're trying to make him the U.S. champion, as if that's going to help, because they think that these fans have a rational reason not to like Reigns, when really it's not anything to do with Reigns, it's to do with them. They don't like WWE, and this is what I mentioned the other month when I talked about the crowd chants during the Balor Seth match. Reigns is just a middleman that's taking the fury of the fans at WWE. So nothing they do.
You got to watch out though, Steven. There's this one guy who watches us every time we talk about Roman Reigns and we try to delegitimize the fans who boo him. He always goes off, so I'm quite sure we're going to get something from him.
I'd like to hear a legitimate reason why people boo him.
Wait, does this guy spam everyone with articles and use all caps all the time?
No, this is a different guy.
Oh,
or at least I think.
Well, I mean that the guy that I mentioned has like 14 identities, so I don't really know who he is. He's got a friggin' identity crisis going on.
Man, that shade throwing that's become popular on the PWF Empire podcast is making its way over to PWF Empire.
I got all kinds of shade for that motherfucker. But
so they think that putting the U.S. title, on him is gonna calm them down. It's not. It's not gonna help. And in fact, it just makes everyone look stupid because Reigns. I always hate it when a world champion wins a lower card title because it
feels weird.
It's weird. It's just backwards. It makes sense once in a while. Like when Cena wins the U.S. title and he says, I'm going to make this title the fighting champion's title. Okay, there's a little bit of a spin to it that I can get behind. But when it's like you just win the title just because it's in your way when you're fighting Rusev, I just think it ruins the title. It ruins Reigns. Nothing comes out looking better for this. And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and look at how at the end of the match they kept going and trying to say, like, oh, this is one of the most prestigious titles in WWE. And I just sat there like, shut the fuck up, Cole. Like, come on, man. You now all of a sudden it's prestigious because Roman Reigns just won it? Like, come on, man. That doesn't make this title suddenly mean a whole lot after it has been a forgettable championship other than the reigns that John Cena had, because he actually did bring some legitimacy back to the title, 100%. But whenever it's on anyone else, it's back to whatever. Now, I think that him being...
Well, just to jump in here really quickly, on the point of John Cena winning the championship, there's not a person on this planet that can deny that when he did that, he made it about the championship. And he went out there every single week telling us why that championship was important. When it comes to Roman Reigns, him having that title, it seems very shallow. Like, I don't even know why he wants his championship. Shit, I don't even know if he actually does
want
the title. It's like he's just, it's like, ooh, this is something shiny. Like, from the perspective of WWE creative, oh, it's something shiny. Put it on Roman Reigns so people can look at him, so it can draw some attention. Other than that, like, why?
It just happens to be, like, the thing that you collect after you beat up Rusev. It's like, okay, I have a problem with Rusev. He happens to be the U.S. champion, so I guess I'll take that from him while I'm at it.
So it's not even the United States Championship. It's the I kicked Rusev's ass championship.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it kind of seems like. And, it's funny because when he won the championship, he, gets the pinfall, and then all of a sudden, the ref has the title there, and all of a sudden he throws on this forced smile. He just all of a sudden... like, all of a sudden, it's like, ha, I won the title. Like, oh, yeah, like, it was just an after that. He's like, oh, I beat up Rusev, yeah. And then he's like, ha, I won the championship. Like, what is going on?
I don't know, man. It's really disappointing because I like Reigns a lot. And I know you guys do, too.
Yeah, no, like, I think Reigns is good. And I think that, like, him being a step down is fine. Like, I'm not upset with the fact that, like, he's away from the main event. It's just, like... It's kind of like, oh, well, we're not going to put the world title on him, so, okay, this title's here. Like, I don't know, it felt very...
It's like there's no plan. They have no plan. Well, they do have a plan, but the plan is the same plan that they tried after...
Let's give him a break from the championship. Let's give him a break from the main event scene, and then let's put him back there with no fucking development at all.
They tried it right after he lost to Lesnar, and it didn't work, so... Are they going to keep trying it? Like, part of me thinks that they gave up on Reigns, but part of me thinks that they didn't, and I'm not sure which one it is.
No, it's this thing where they want people to think that they gave up on him just so the rage can die down, and then they're going to move him back with no fucking development at all.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I
don't know. When I think of the timeline, and again, like, maybe this is just me being, like, more of a revisionist, just, like, looking at the big picture, and just, I look at the timeline, and in June, this guy is WWE champion, and now in September, he's United States champion, and it just doesn't make much sense, because, like, that to me is like, okay, why would you put that championship on him when he was world, like, A, why would he want it, And that question can't even be answered because he never said he really wanted it. He never even really said, I want to be United States champion. I don't even ever remember him saying that. All I know is he was going after Rusev. The title happened to be on the line. They could have just made this a personal feud between Rusev and Roman Reigns, and Reigns wins the match. Rusev is still U.S. champion. It doesn't have to be a title match just because there's a feud going on. I know we would say, why isn't it for the title if that was the case, but, like... I mean, again, then at least have Roman Reigns say he wants the championship. I mean...
Yeah, shit, he hasn't even said that he wants to take the championship just to embarrass Rusev or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, that has not been communicated. And
he also just
that's a problem for me.
Bitch, man, because every time he gets fucked over in the world title picture, he just goes for the U.S. title.
This is some Dolph Ziggler type shit here.
You're right,
pretty much. Yeah, he lost to Ambrose, so he said, hey, Miz, what are you doing? Got any plans for the next pay-per-view? Because I need somebody else to job to.
Oh, God.
Got that shade all over the place.
But at least it makes sense there because Dolph Ziggler actually belongs
He's a bum.
in the mid-card.
Yeah.
Reigns, like, got fucked over by Triple H. Doesn't even care.
Yeah.
Doesn't even care.
Doesn't go out there, call him out. Doesn't sit there and say, I'm better than the U.S. title, because that would be edgy. That would be something interesting. He could go out there and say, I'm better than that title. I don't need that championship.
Now we're going to have to hear him say some bullshit about how the U.S. title is prestigious too, guys, and, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, see, now it's prestigious because it's on Roman Reigns, but when Rusev had it, it's whatever. And when most people have it, it's whatever. But, you know, and that's annoying to me because you can't just... say, hey, there's prestige here. It reminds me of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. We don't mention it all fucking year long. We pretend it basically doesn't exist until it's WrestleMania again. And there's only been 3 Battle Royals ever to determine the winner, and all 3 winners have gone absolutely nowhere. And then all of a sudden next year, though, I guarantee you, if they continue doing that match, assuming they do, they're going to be like, oh, the prestigious Andre. They're going to use that word because it's a buzzword that WWE loves to fucking use to try to make things sound like they matter. And they're doing that now. You're going to do it with the U.S. title. It's a prestigious title now. But when Rusev had it, it was just the U.S. title.
On the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, though, there's one thing that you're forgetting about one of those winners. Big Show.
Oh,
he's a giant.
He's a damn giant.
He's a damn giant. Yeah, there you go. All right. The main event of Clash of Champions, the WWE Universal Championship match, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Kevin Owens wins this match after interference from his best friend, Chris Jericho, and some ref bumps. You throw those in there. Stephanie comes out with a new ref, and then Kevin Owens takes advantage of the chaos that's going on and hits Seth Rollins with a pop-up powerbomb. Kevin Owens still your champion, or as Chris Jericho would say, they are the champion of the universe. He was singing "We Are the Champions" when the show closed, which was entertaining. I like that.
This was a great match. I felt something special here. I don't know if you guys felt it too, but...
No.
No? You didn't feel it?
No.
You didn't feel like there was something special
did you just have a drink? Like, what is it that you're drinking? You should pass some of that over here so maybe I can feel what's special too.
You didn't feel anything special here.
I liked it.
I didn't feel anything special at all.
The special that I felt was there toward the beginning and pittered away as the match
went on. Right when Jericho came in, it ended. But before that, I felt like Owens was back to his NXT self, first of all.
Well, the non-mic work, when he said, oh, you call yourself an architect, you don't even have a foundation, I was like, Lord Almighty, what a line.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
He was
nice
being
stuff.
that way the entire match, though. It was like he was doing the NXT thing where he would go out of the ring. He was doing devastating moves. He looked like a force of nature here. He looked like a legit threat here. And Rollins, just babyface Rollins, really is a breath of fresh air. I could see, like, I always knew that Rollins would be a good babyface because, I mean, we've seen that before. But I didn't know how much I wanted it until tonight, where to me, the pairing of face Rollins versus heel Owens is really good. And right now they're not really doing everything they can to capitalize on that because Rollins isn't even a full babyface, first of all, and second of all, the build-up has been shit. But just the match reminded me of kind of Owens versus Zayn, but not exactly, just sort of in that spirit, but not, I mean, obviously not the same.
I don't know where the hell you got that one from. Man, I wish.
What's so outlandish about that?
Because you pretty much feel the exact same way that I feel about the characters. For example, you say that the build-up has been shit. They're not doing what they can to fully capitalize off of Seth Rollins. And for you to say that this match was special and to also say those things don't really connect.
Okay, so let me clarify. I don't think that the match per se was special. I liked the match, so that's not what I'm saying. But I didn't think it was amazing. I said, what I'm saying is I felt something special. I felt like the potential for something special. Like,
I felt the potential for something special too. I just didn't see it on the show.
I did see it on the show because did you not think that Owens looked like a legit contender here? Did you not think that Rollins was doing a very good babyface a character here? I mean, to me, this was a very good pairing, and I liked seeing the match.
See, I think that the match was definitely solid, but it's just the way that you're trying to sell it. I think you're overselling it, trying to relate it to Kevin Owens and NXT and him and his feud with Sami Zayn. That's what I don't buy. So I'm like, everything that I'm saying right now is battling against what I believe is you overselling the match.
Yeah, maybe I am overselling it. That's true. But I just felt that feeling. I didn't feel like it became that fully, but there were moments in here that I felt that, and it just gave me a nice feeling because I'm sick of having shitty characters, and I saw a good character in Owens tonight, and I saw potential for a good character in Rollins tonight, and I liked the match for the most part. I didn't like Jericho's involvement. First of all, because it's redundant. I mean, why not have Triple H come out? Where the hell is Triple H? Did they have to bring out Jericho? I mean, I get that he's with Owens, but shouldn't Seth Rollins be involved with Triple H to some degree? Shouldn't Triple H have done something here? I don't know.
And then that freaking ref
everything
bump,
before that, I just... What's that?
And then the ref bump.
Oh, the ref bump? Oh. Yeah, very, very shoddy, broke up the pace. But I mean, this is just the end of my piece. Owens looked great in this match, and so did Rollins for that matter. So that's all.
No, I think they carried themselves appropriately, for sure.
When you say that there's potential for a good character for Seth Rollins, that means that, or at least to me, that the good character is not there quite yet. And it's been a weird little process for me reading a lot of feedback on Seth Rollins, or not necessarily feedback, but just like observations, people saying what they're thinking about the character of Seth Rollins and going forward. And there are people out there who are still saying, I can't wait for the face turn for Seth Rollins. And me, when he was pedigreed by Triple H, that was a fucking face turn. And it was solidified the next week when he came out on Raw with all of that fire. And the fact that there are people out there who are not sure as to what Seth Rollins is quite yet, they're waiting on a big moment to solidify a face turn for him when the big moment has already happened. And that speaks volumes as to the effectiveness of Seth Rollins' character currently. And
see, I actually like that because I'm never a big fan of these sudden personality changes. Mm-hmm. I don't like the idea that Triple H pedigrees Rollins and suddenly he's a nice guy. I want a more slow transition, and that's what I'm getting. So, and I think that it could have been picked. The build-up could have been a lot better, but I do like the slow transition from him as this whiny little bitch that we all hate for multiple reasons, to the more legit contender that we're seeing inklings of, because I don't want it to be like a switch.
And I think the point of what's gone on with Rollins and what continues to go on with Rollins is to garner sympathy. We're supposed to feel bad for him. We're supposed to feel bad for that character. We're supposed to say, damn, he keeps getting robbed. this is ridiculous. I want to see him win. That's the attitude the fan is supposed to be thinking, as far as I can tell. Like, that's, to me, their writing direction seems to be in that way. That, like, they're trying to make you feel like, damn, I really want to see him win, without necessarily making him turn into a fan pleasing, like, yeah, to the fans all the time, or like, trying to get pops off the words that he says. So I like that too. I do like that. I think Rollins' character since he's returned has been miles better than what happened before when he was champion.
Oh yeah,
it's been miles better. I take him so much more seriously. I think his in-ring action has been just as good, if not better. And that's coming off a serious leg injury, which is impressive as all hell. And I don't know. I thought this match did have something special that just went away as time went along, because then you get Jericho come out there. The ref bump felt so forced and so stupid. The second ref comes out and checks on the first ref before going into the ring to make the count, which is friggin' stupid. That's not ever how, because wrestling works, damn it. The whole logic of the ref getting, you wearing the zebra stripes and then being hurt for 20 minutes, okay, as illogical as that is about as illogical as it was for that second ref to check on the first ref before going into the ring to count. So, to me, that's just so dumb. But, yeah, I mean, this match, the finish for me fell flat, but it's still feeding to the narrative that I just was talking about. We're supposed to continue to feel for Rollins. So, in a way, I'm not that upset with the finish. Although it did take away from the match quality to me, it may feed into the story narrative, but I can't feel that confident about that statement because of how poorly built the story was going into this match. You know what I mean?
I don't understand why it was Jericho. That makes no sense to me.
He was looking out for his homie.
Yeah, I wish it was
Jericho is ride or die.
Yeah, I get that, but where's Triple H? And is Rollins not going to feud with Triple H? I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what's going on.
Is he just a Deus Ex Machina that comes in and then leaves forever? I mean,
well, it's partly that, and also the fact that they need to find some kind of way to not burn out so much of the story when the end game is Triple H versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania next year.
Is it at WrestleMania? Can they do that? I don't think they could. They can stretch it out that long.
And again,
honestly, that's why Triple H is not on TV.
I don't think even they think that they could stretch it out that long.
See, I don't want that to be stretched out that long, and I've started to fall further and further away from that, because when a couple years ago I used to always say, oh, you gotta save that for Mania, for all these different scenarios. Oh, gotta save that for Mania, gotta save that for Mania. Every time they save it for Mania, the match is underwhelming at WrestleMania, because you build the expectations in your head for all those months, and you say, oh yeah, it's all gonna come to a head at WrestleMania, and then it comes to a head at WrestleMania, and you're like, yeah, it was alright. Like, I'd rather I'm not saying we need instant gratification here, but I mean, we should get tidbits with Triple H. We should get an appearance, even if it's just him making an entrance. Rollins gets distracted by it, costs him the match. That's
what I thought was gonna happen.
That's all we need.
That's what I was expecting the whole time.
His music could have just hit. He didn't even have to make a physical appearance. His music could have just hit. His presence was there. He doesn't have to physically be in the ring or on the ramp or even there at all. They could have just had his music hit, and it would have been like, what the hell is this? Bang, that happens. It reminds me of like how they didn't use The Undertaker during some of the build-up with his more recent matches. And it's like, you could just play the guy's music and his presence is felt, or have the lights go off, and oh my god, now he's here. Like, he's not here, but he's here, Like, they could have done that with Triple H tonight. They could continue to do that. I know they had Stephanie kind of smiling at the end, which I obviously I do think she's in on it. I think that is part of the story that they're trying to portray here, which is totally okay, but
why do they have to do that?
They don't have to.
What the hell does Stephanie have to gain by pretending that she's not in on it? That's just weird to me.
I feel like it's all just going to come back to be this authority type angle again, not like the authority the stable. I mean, just like an authority, a fight for power. Like Mick Foley's going to be the face GM, and then Triple H and Stephanie are going to try to go on a power trip, and it's going to be Foley.
Mick Foley has no power. That's what I don't get. I mean,
like how
Stephanie
can he
just fire him, and that's it.
They could literally fire him anytime they want, but it'll probably set up some like Survivor Series match or some shit. I don't even know.
Maybe,
I shouldn't say that too loud. I'll give them ideas, but I want Triple H to come out. I'm in the same boat. I think that waiting like 4 or 5 months, it's too much, because the interim, what goes on in between, is boring. It's boring. It's going to be boring because you're always going to be waiting for Triple H, and you can't leave us waiting too long. You can make us wait a few weeks. You could even make us wait a month or two, but making us wait, what will it be, 6 months or more? Come on now. That's too much time.
I thought they were going to set up for Hell in a Cell. I mean, maybe that was naive of me because it's so close, but Seth Rollins versus Triple H Hell in a Cell. Why not? Instead, we're going to get Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell, a match that isn't really worthy of that match, you know? I mean, they don't have that much bad blood, so...
And then, see, there's another issue there, too, because then you'll see this Hell in a Cell match will likely have another type of screwy finish thrown into it. And it's like Hell in a Cell, the purpose of Hell in a Cell is to prevent fuckery. And yet, that's where we'll see it.
That's the match that Triple H is going to come in, probably.
Exactly, and that's the problem to me, because this was the one that had that written all over it and sets up for it. Hell in a Cell does not do that. Hell in a Cell is when they're like enclosed in a structure that's supposed to keep anyone out. That's the point of the damn structure. And to obviously cause pain to your opponent and all that other stuff. But, like, there is a point of having no one else allowed in. You know what I mean? It's like, why else would you put the damn structure up? Because I can take all those weapons that could be under the ring and still hit you with them. You know what I mean? Okay, they can use the cell. Ugh. They can use the announce table, too. They can expose a ring barricade and hit your head off that, and it's just as painful. Hell, I think that might kill you. So, but basically my point is, like, this was the match that set up for Triple H coming in, not Hell in a Cell. And then Hell in a Cell, he could have made himself special guest referee or some shit like that. He could have stirred up the pot. I mean, yeah, sure, that obviously is going to lead to some fuckery, but it's all still happening within the circle of the match. You know, that fuckery is good fuckery. There's such a thing as good fuckery and bad fuckery. Again, I'm writing the book of fuckery as we speak, but like there are the best of fuckeries and there are the worst of fuckeries. And, this is not one of the best of fuckeries for me.
Alrighty, what are your final thoughts on Clash of Champions?
Wait a minute. You didn't give your thoughts, and also, why are you feeling liberated?
I did give my thoughts.
Kind of. Okay, but why are you feeling liberated?
Okay, well, thank you. I guess I'll talk about it now. Because nothing that I saw on this show tonight warrants me watching Monday Night Raw tomorrow. And
well, that's okay, because there's something better on.
Well, even then, because I talk about this, or I'd like to talk about this every time we do a pay-per-view show. I can't. I talk about it every time we do an NXT show. The 3 things that you need to do with these big events: you need to have satisfying payoff to your stories, give me something to look forward to, and be entertaining. Those 3 things were not done effectively on this show. I really don't have anything to look forward to, so I was holding out hope that something would happen tonight that was like, okay, you know what? I said I wasn't going to watch Monday Night Raw tomorrow, but I'm hoping that they give me a reason to watch on this show. And they didn't do it, so I am free. And that's my thought on Clash of Champions. I'm already ready to forget the damn name of the show. It was what it was, and I'm glad it's over.
So Night of Champions, but with night spelled Clash, pretty much.
Yeah, that works. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was very mediocre to me, very middle of the road. I enjoyed Backlash a couple of weeks ago a lot more. Like, not a lot more, way more than I enjoyed this show. Like, that was a great show, in my opinion. And it was, for a lot of reasons. I think it's because SmackDown Live is kicking Raw's ass, to be quite honest. And I think this night was evident of that. A lot of bad finishes, a lot of good in-ring moments, a lot of botched in-ring moments. There's a mixture. The botches, there were a lot more, to me, good in-ring moments than botches, but there were some critical botches on this night. So that definitely did take away from him. But the finishes were the biggest problem. And again, the finishes are the last thing you remember from a match. So if a finish is bad, it does dictate how you will feel about the rest of the match. It kind of can help to poison what otherwise was a very, healthy and good and enjoyable match for you as a fan. So yeah, for me, I think there's a lot of mediocrity that came out of this night. It was like a 5 out of 10. It just kind of was. It was all right. It had its moments of being good, but for the most part, the finishes dictated the pace for me, and I wasn't a fan of most of them. So yeah, honestly, watching Raw tomorrow will be very challenging. Monday Night Football is on, so there's a very good chance I will be watching more of that than Raw. So that tells me.
Well, I do have to tell you guys, since I'm not going to be watching Raw from this point on, you got to hold it down on all of the Raw talk on the show.
All right. Well, I got a DVR and I can fast forward through, most of it or all of
it. You said 5 out of 10, Evan. I'm going to quote Hoodies from Twitter. Shout out to you. He rated it 2 unfrosted Pop-Tarts out of 5. It's very important. 2 unfrosted, so that's one of the worst things you can possibly be. So, yeah. That's my, okay. I'll mirror that rating for the show. What you got, Steven?
My expectations for wrestling have gone way down. So, when I see a bad show, I'm like, yeah, it's about what I expected. I'm actually interested in Owens and Rollins. I wasn't interested in the finish to the match, but I was interested in the match. So I'm interested to see where they go. Owens, in my opinion, doesn't need to go anywhere. He's perfectly fine. I'm interested to see where Rollins goes. And I won't be seeing it tomorrow because I'll be watching the debate and seeing Donald Trump absolutely stump the living shit out of Hillary Clinton.
Curb stomp.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you for tuning in to PWF Empire Live's review of Clash of Champions. I tried to muster up every fuck that I had to do this video. Hopefully, you got something out of it. But as far as it relates to Monday Night Raw, that's it for me. We'll catch you next time on PWF Empire Live on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Until then, peace out.